welcome to the Bookover, a little book club where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. I'm Sarah, and with me is Megan.
Hello.
And today we are talking about Boys of Bellerose by Tate James and Jaymin Eve.
Jaymin Eve, yes. The first in the Boys of Bellerose. Oh my gosh, I was saying it wrong at first. It's Bellerose or no, it's Bellerose, and I was saying Bellerose like the country. I was saying Bellerose like the place. I'm like, no, it's Bellerose. And I actually love that. And it kind of reminds, or is it Bellerose? Is it Bellerose or Bellerose? I was getting confused. The first I'm like, wait, is it like Melrose at Bellerose, or is it Bellerose? So I started thinking that. I forgot that I started thinking that. But I'm gonna say Bellerose.
I think I say Bellerose. And the E silent. When I type it out in my book, like when I'm typing it, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like it goes. I like both. I'm like, because at first her last name Billy Bellerose sounds right to me, but then I thought it was like the band was Bellerose or Bellerose. I don't know. Maybe it's Bellerose.
I say Bellerose. I don't know. Someone knows better.
I think it is Bellerose, and I think I remember. I was like thinking it wrong in my head, and then all of a sudden it clicked because my reread. That's what it was. I had Alexa help with my reread, and then it said Bellerose. That's what it was, and I was like, wait a minute. The whole time I was saying it wrong, which I kind of love. I kind of love Billy Bellerose.
Yeah.
I love the name, and I like Bellerose for a band name. So
it's such a good band name. I was like, and then to find out, the band's named after her, and he hates her.
Yes,
like, but it's like, how is it named after her if you hate her so much too? It's just like, well, it's because it's Jace.
I think that's telling. I think that's really telling because there's a fine line between love and hate, and I feel like it was also to spite her a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I think Rhett. We're jumping in. I think Rhett calls it so well because there's a few times he calls out Jace in his head or like out loud about like his actions.
Yeah.
And how there is that fine line and he doesn't even realize how he's really feeling. He's misinterpreting his own feelings. And I was like, yeah, he really is. Yeah.
I love Rhett. Rhett is just on it. And at first you're like, I was like a little, you're a little apprehensive. At first I'm like, oh, he's sweet, he's giving her shirt off his back, but you're also like, you just met this girl and she's got blood on her, and should we be suspicious of him? And it just turns out he's a good guy. Like, even when there's opportunities for him to kind of be like Jace and like believe the worst in her, he doesn't.
Right.
Like, and there's that scene with the scars, and like she doesn't think he sees it, and then you get his POV and he does, and he just is like, that's just further proof of what she's been through and how Jace just, I know there's more to this story. Like, he just sees so much, and he doesn't push her, but he like, I think Rhett is really wise, and this is a case of instant like where I think it works.
Yes.
Like, I know it's fast, but it makes sense to me. It doesn't feel forced. I get it. Like, the writing is so well. I feel their connection. I really do. I feel their pull. It's really well done. And he's not my type usually, Rhett, but I feel like she gives him but they both give him just enough edge too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was suspicious of him at first because I'm like, why aren't you blinking an eye about this?
Yeah.
But then he has that savior complex. He's wanting to save. But then he's so well written as this character because what I love is like his we're getting to know a little bit more about him not being able to sleep, hints about his past, and then I totally lost my thought. What was it?
Well, that there's more to him, right?
There's so much more to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the rock star though in him though. Like it's like at first you're like, gosh, he's really soft. Like, yeah, he has dyed hair, but like what's more to him? Like what makes him this? And then like he'll do something that's just so classic rock star. And you're like, okay, there it is. Like I love it. I love that they added that in there to make sure that we didn't lose that because it is a band, you know, like sometimes there's scenes like you wouldn't get that, but then he would like say something and you're like, oh, okay, there it is.
Like, yeah, exactly. Typical rock star. And I think they mesh the genres so well with the mafia and the rock star. So that's a different contrast. And because then you throw Gray in, which I think is perfect because especially like from his first POV where he's not liking Tom, he's kind of like, you know, he wants to like unalive him. And he's got a mysterious past, and then you find out that he has mafia ties, which is really interesting. And like, you know, that's not far-fetched. You know, everybody has a past, and it doesn't matter like if it's show business, you get into a band, that can definitely, I could see that happening where someone was into crime and, you know, other things in the past, and they ended up getting in a band that blows up because they've got musical talent. So I really like that aspect, that kind of blends the two genres going on, rock star, mafia. So Gray's like this secret kind of like badass. And I love how he like sees what's going on with Billy and saves her
I
from
love how
the security
grumpy
guard.
he is. How grumpy
Oh
and
my
like
gosh,
how he's so alpha with everybody.
Yes.
How he will just call up and be like, you need to be at the gym now, you know, and how he's taking care of everybody. But then also that he's keeping an eye on Billy too, like how he's like, what is he on, like the black web or something? Like, how does he know? He's knowing that things are going to happen. Like he knew that like somebody, you know, is looking out to get her and stuff. Like it's just, I just
he's got connections. I think he's still
got connections for sure. I love his nickname for her, Prickles.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I love this. He's had these like playful moments with her where like, you know, he got Rhett out of the room and like closed the door on him and like went and kissed her good morning and like things like that where it's like it's so cute, and then he's like there like shooting guys dead for her. You know, but it's like it's the thing is that it's written in such a way that you're like, yeah, I believe this. Like
it is.
I totally get this. Yeah.
It's very believable, especially because you think like like people that are in organized crime, you know, above the law, and then who else is above the law? Kind of, it is the celebrities, like the tippy top celebrities that can buy off police and push things to the side. So it's definitely, I feel like it's really believable.
Yeah,
for sure.
I found it interesting that the band knew, like the rest of the band knew about Gray. Like Jace and Rhett both like asked Gray like if, you know, she saw him shoot the guys or something like that. So like they all know, and that's why they sent him to go get her first, and they were like separate. So I want to know more of the background of the band coming together and how everyone showed up. Like I'm wondering if we're gonna have some like backflashes of like how that came, or maybe just like a quick little thing here and there that's like, oh, this is how that happened to be.
And like how the friendships formed. Like, because so they say that Jace, you know, originally I think Billy like helped write songs with him. I forget if she played an instrument. I think she plays an instrument. And then but she can't sing, she said. And then Angel was like in the band originally too, so he plays. So they were like the original band, and he got the contract. I thought it sounded like without him, but then later I thought, from what I remember, I think Angel was offered the contract too, but couldn't take it because of the mafia ties. So like Jace had to have a different band. So I'm thinking maybe the label picked it for him, but like how did they get along? How did they like mesh together? Especially if Jace was coming to them in this like broken place where he's probably, I mean, I'm guessing the impression I get is his songs are like angry about love and all that stuff. So I'm thinking like how do you break through a guy who's like been through all that? So I'm very curious to see how they discovered that about Gray, how they all came together. That'll be very interesting because they seem like they were really close. I'm not saying they're not now, but like I think the Billy thing is throwing a wrench into it. But you can see it though in the way that they talk to each other, and the fact that Jace still, is putting up with her being there, although I think he secretly wants her there on some level. But and how Rhett isn't freaking out that Gray like is also into her, but also like they're not jumping into they make it seem like, oh, they're gonna jump into a harem, and then they're like, nope, it's gonna be a competition. I liked that. That was different.
I mean, liked that
obviously too. Yeah, obviously it'll end up that way, but I like that sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, it'll be fine, we'll just share her, and they're like, nope. That was different.
Right. Well, and I liked Billy's inner thoughts on that too, where she's like, well, if I'm gonna die, I might as well just do this too, And I was like, see, like that's like, why not? Like, why choose?
I mean, that does make why choose. I agree. And gosh, I just like the way that like, and Rhett is just like was such a protector. And obviously like he has trauma in his past that like made him wanna save her, but I do feel like there was that connection there. So I really liked their relationship. I liked Gray's kind of like medium burn for him. And their their little moments. And I don't want to say it's like, because you mentioned grumpy, I don't want to say it's grumpy sunshine, because she's definitely going through it. Right. I think it's kind of like grumpy, and he's the sunshine to her, even though she's she's a realist, she's pragmatic. She's like, I need to get away, I don't want to endanger people. I'm like, she's been on the run for years, it sounds like, living under the radar. And why is that? Why? It's not, she just witnessed this thing, so she's on the run again, but she did not want to work in that restaurant. And because I don't think it's just because it was her ex's restaurant. I think that something else happened. And I think that the reason they're after her is to the restaurant. I think that father is using that Angel's father is using that as an excuse. Yeah. And there's something else from the past.
I think there's a couple of things going on.
And the reason she won't touch her family's money. Yeah. Because she said she has money, she can't touch it. I think maybe her family was involved with Angel's mob. Maybe they were snitches, and his father set it on fire, like set the house on fire. I have a bunch of theories that I think somehow Angel's dad is connected, and maybe that's why her and Angel broke up. Maybe she finds out that his father's responsible for killing her parents. Maybe her parents are trying to get out. The money's dirty. I don't know. I think there's something related with the fire and Angel.
Oh yeah. I think somehow that's. I don't think it was directly Angel, because I think I said.
No, I don't think he started it.
No, but I think he found out about it from like somebody in his father's group and went and saved her, and that's how she got saved. And I think that's why, and then he was by her side, which, oh, I love Angel. How he was like by her side, and I think he stayed away. I think he broke things off to try to protect her, because I think he wrote.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I think he ended things with her, and maybe did it in a way to like, scare her away, to keep her away. Like kind of thing, when he really loves her, but it's like, you can't be here, you're gonna,
because this is dangerous.
It's dangerous. So I think that's what it is. And I think when she showed back up, that's why he was like, don't go, and was chasing her, because he was trying to like, because that's, imagine you see somebody after years and you miss them, you sent them away because for whatever reason, and then like you haven't been, if she's been under the radar, he's probably been searching for her forever too, like trying to make sure she's okay. So imagine that, like, oh wow, she is okay, she's right here, and then have her run away. It's just like,
I like that theory. I did not think that. That's new to me. I like that theory. My theory was kind of twofold. My theory was that, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Well, I'll say my other one first, which was skipping to the end a little bit, was the baby, and how Angel had said that like he'll believe it because he believed it before, and it was a sonogram from the past that they were using. So after the fire and everything. So I'm thinking that maybe the reason she broke up with Jace has to do with either like they didn't want him involved in the crime life and sucked into that, and that was part of it, but maybe she found out she was pregnant, didn't know it seems like they might have had like a throuple relationship going on. Like she started out with Jason, then he kind of got involved, and I feel like she said, okay, I'm pregnant, this is his baby, I'm gonna be with him, I don't want to be with you, so like that wouldn't hold back the his music contract. But I feel like there might have been more to it, like where they were trying to, like maybe she found out her parents were in the mob, again, the dirty money that she won't touch, and there was something else going on, and they wanted to save Jace from it.
I agree. I feel like that was it.
Like maybe she doesn't know who baby, or maybe, but she was hoping that he would come to the hospital, which was so sad because she was like in the worst state, and she was just hoping he'd show up, and he didn't. My other thought was maybe she didn't know that she was pregnant then, and that the baby had nothing to do with it. And like Angel, like later on said, it doesn't matter whose it is, but it was still like she had to break it off because, again, I think it had to do with whatever her parents were involved in the mafia. Because a month later, her house burns down, and that's, there's something going on there. So okay, your theory was that he broke up with her to save her. My theory was she found out that he knew about the fire and came to save her, and that she couldn't own it because like her father did it. Like maybe she realized, maybe she felt betrayed by him. Maybe she didn't realize that there, like maybe he could have done more to save her parents or something, or miscommunication. I
she
feel
overheard something that leaned it towards like he was involved with it, maybe.
And I feel like there was something that scared her away from him, and she felt like she had to get away, because she seems to be like she is living under the radar. So I feel like it's not, I feel like there's a reason that she was like, like living rough like that for a while, to try to get away from the mafia family. So it'll be so interesting to see, like, I can't wait. I really hope we get it in book 2, or at least part of it. I feel like my theory is by book 4, like, we'll know. I mean, I think I know everyone's going to be in the harem, but it'll be like, okay, these are the people that are going to be in the harem. Like book 4 will be them as a unit, like dealing with whatever comes in book 4. That's my theory. So I feel like book 2 and 3, it's like one, like Angel and her have to make up, and then one and her and Jace have to make up. So I'm hoping, like, that happens, and like we at least get half of the backstory. That's my hope. That's my hope, because I really need to know what happened.
Well,
with her being with Angel.
I think we're gonna get. I don't want all book 2 to be her and Angel.
No, neither do I.
I want a good chunk to be Angel, and then I want him to get in the mix, because he's gonna be in the mix, right? And so it's gonna be them all figuring out, and then dealing with Flo and Tom, the aftermath on that. And then I think we got to have that character arc of Jace realizing how he doesn't know about the fire, he doesn't know about the hospital, he doesn't know about the baby. In my eyes, like, I feel like he knows nothing, and he's gonna realize all this stuff, and so it's gonna get to a point where he's gonna have to finally listen, realize, and then grovel. So like that's so it's like,
I love it.
When is that gonna happen? And then I feel like book 3 hopefully is all them figuring out how to work together as a unit, and then get Angel's dad, whatever that issue is, solved. Well, that's gonna I don't know. I'm not planning the books out. I'm just so excited.
We're theorizing about which book will be where.
I know. And it's just like, and then with Flo, I'm honestly done with her. I mean, I knew pretty early on that I didn't trust her, because I'm like, they trust her, and I would want to trust Gray trusting her, because he's very observant, and he really hates Tom. And I'm like, but if she's with Tom, what's going on there? And it's like, there was just certain, and then the readers get that hotel scene, like, so that's like later on, and it's like, they're up to something. They're up to something when they were in the hallway.
Yes, that's when
And so now that she goes to Jace after that encore song, is like, I messed up, and I'm like, she needs to go. I'm sorry, she effed up. She needs to go, like, because she was going to let her die. She was gonna let her get hurt, like, many times. She like with the coffee thing, she was up to no good getting her out there. She
Oh
knew what
no.
she was doing. And I'm like,
she did.
And then again at the concert, letting it happen. And I'm like,
that's twice. You would think she would have. She seemed so sad after the first time, but obviously she didn't learn her lesson.
So then it's like, what is Tom doing to?
Tom has something on her.
Tom has something going on, and she like, and they've all mentioned how they're all broken and they've all dealt with stuff. So it's like, what did she do that Tom knows about that? You know, Tom needs to die. Somebody needs to kill Tom. Like he just needs, like, and what it would be awesome if Angel finds out and he does it. He just like Tom walks in the room or something and boom, you're dead. Like that's what I need.
That would be epic where it was just like, dude, no.
Yeah.
I think Gray, I think from the first time, like Gray's POV, like from the first POV, he was like how much he hated Tom. I think it's going to be Gray that takes Tom out.
Yeah. Oh, well, it would make him so happy.
I think it was, I do think that, from a couple of the scenes and what he said, like, you owe me this flow. I think that he was in a power position. I think she was like a nobody or whatever, like, you know, just like a musician trying to make it in Hollywood, and he had some kind of he is a producer or a manager or whatever. No, not producer, a manager. So I think that he took her, and I think he kind of manipulated her, and he put her in a position that way he could manipulate her. So I think that he's like emotionally abusive and mentally abusive to her. That's the impression I'm getting. Like, I made you and now you owe me. So now when this tour slot opens up and you're so big, I want you to make me the manager. And then they have this relationship and everyone's like, why are they together? And I'm thinking that, like, she probably came from like a hard background. Maybe he was a savior to her. Maybe he manipulated her, and now she feels stuck in this, like, I feel like she's like in an emotionally like manipulative and abusive relationship with him. That's what I'm getting, not like physically, but like I'm getting because I don't think that's the thing though. She's a strong character too. She has good advice. She seems sage. So you're just like, why on earth is she with him other than the blackmail? But I feel like you could be blackmailed but not have to be her, like, the boyfriend. And she does show some like care towards him too.
Yeah.
So that's what confuses me.
Yeah.
So I am a little back and forth with her.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking, is she a victim that I feel for and I can forgive? Or is it like too far gone? Are these tears real?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the thing. I can't tell with her because of what you said with the relationship and some of the things that she's for him. And she mentioned something about how she, at the coffee shop, you know, she doesn't get a lot of people coming up to her wanting her autograph or pictures with her because a lot of people don't care about the basis. And so I'm thinking that the end goal is to break up the band and have her become her own thing. I think that's why they have done the things they have done to try to get for their end game. They have a different I'm thinking that they're trying to get her more famous for like more money or something.
That's an interesting theory. Okay, so my theory is it was the past, and in the past he got her to where she is. So your theory is that currently he wants to propel her higher, and she's fame hungry.
I think we could connect both theories. It's like her past and then moving it forward.
So she's always been hungry enough to do it, and
he still hungry because he's slimy, and he's like, yeah.
And she is with a slimy guy. Even if he is emotionally manipulative, she's culpable. She knows she was crying, upset about it all.
Yeah.
So, and she did say sorry to Jace, but still, maybe she thought she was going to get caught. There are security videos. There is security around. Wouldn't she know what Tom's doing? So that's interesting. So it could go either way with Flo. I like tying our two theories together. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah. I really want, and I think I said this in our little book club, I really want to know what that encore song said. Like how he's like, I've been writing it, and then he sang it, and then like it was like quiet, and then everyone went crazy, and I'm like, what did it say? Like, I don't
Oh
know,
my
because I'm
gosh.
not
I
big
need
on
to
lyrics
know.
in books. Like when writers write out a song, like to
Mm-hmm.
me, if I don't know the tune and the rhythm, it's really hard for me to read it and be like, what is this song saying? Like, how does it sound?
Mm-hmm.
But like this one, like I really want to know what it is. To me, it's probably like I still love you or something, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
feel like it's gonna be like a hate love song. I
Yeah.
like not like his other hate love songs. I feel like it's gonna be different. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's interesting, like he's finally writing again because it's his muse.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I've said this, I've showed you, I found this song, and there's literally a lyric in it that it says lovers turned into enemies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so perfect.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's his song when he first broke up with her.
Mhm.
Like I can just imagine like these like loving, like you love the girl, these break, you know, those like love them but
Yeah.
breaking up. It's like I can see how like the band would have been propelled by like the pure raw passion from that,
Mhm.
but it's also interesting that they helped write, like Billy helped write some of those songs, and they're trying to get her money for that, but he changed them a bit obviously after the fact.
Mhm.
So not only did he have trouble writing because he didn't have his muse, but also she was like his writing partner, which I
Mhm.
find interesting.
Yeah.
And they said that the band all writes together too, like they collaborate, which I like.
Yeah. I like
So
that they
that'll
all
be
collab.
interesting.
Yeah. I like that
Yeah,
she
because I
doesn't
think
really
Billy's gonna get
care.
in there.
She's like, I don't care for the
Oh
money.
yeah,
Just
she
let
doesn't
me
care for the money.
go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's all
Mm-hmm.
Rhett doing it. I love that. But I also love that Rhett's writing. And they're like, oh, you don't write. And he's like, but I am now. Like, I think we're gonna get more of
Yeah.
them all. Cause even wasn't it Gray, I think, works on like drum stuff too a little bit. I think we saw that at one point. So
Yeah.
like I think they're all gonna like change the things.
Change. Yeah. The dynamic.
I'm wondering if like Flo will go and Billy will end up in the band.
I do wonder that too because I think, like I said, I'm trying to remember. I think she plays an instrument. I know she said she
Right.
can't sing, but she can write lyrics.
Well, and I
Like she can write
know
music.
she doesn't do guitar, right? Because Angel was the lead guitarist back then.
Yeah. So I'm
I
thinking
wonder if she's
Angel might
bass
end up.
or maybe she could do
Mm-hmm.
like piano or something.
I feel like, why do I feel like it was
I don't know.
piano? I feel like it was. I feel like she's at least gonna help them write.
Yeah,
I feel like that's gonna
that's
kind of come
gonna
to
be in
fruition. I
like
feel like
the
Angel could end
epilogue.
up. Hmm. Or we're wrong, and maybe the band will just kind of end up figuring out like not imploding, but maybe they'll just be like, we don't need all this fame. We'll just make music to make music kind of thing.
Right.
That could happen too because it seems like there's a lot like on the line and a lot at stake. But then again, I feel like the muse is back. I just think that would be an interesting twist.
Yeah.
But I really again I loved the hunt, like that she's on the run and there's people after her, and
Mhm.
those moments where Jace just showed emotion, like you could tell he cared. Like when the crazy stalker fan came, he like brought the gun onto himself because
Mhm.
he was trying to save her. There's these moments where you see that Jace genuinely cares.
Yeah, and then he'll get so
I
mad at her because it's like I think he's having a hard time dealing with his
yeah.
feelings, so he'll explode on her, and it's more
Mm-hmm.
he's mad with himself or
Mm-hmm.
something, or he's mad because like why are you're making me feel things like kind of the man thing
Yes.
like how dare you make me
And
feel.
I think he's valid in some of his anger, I feel, because he has asked her to explain things to
And
him,
she won't. Yeah.
and which I like. Like, yes, and she won't. And like, and Rhett, they like Rhett knows there's more to the story, and she won't. Evidently, she's trying to spare him, but like, I
Mhm.
think she needs to like explain. So I'm hoping in book two we get some, and I think Tate and Jaymin are good at this. I think they're good at giving us enough answers to keep us satisfied, but
Yeah.
leaving enough open and creating more for later.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we at least, I think we'll get more of the backstory now that she's with Angel.
Mhm.
And I think Jace is going to have to start opening up.
Mhm.
You know, they're going to have to start working to it because I think they'll get together by book three. So I think they need to at least start repairing stuff.
Yeah.
Especially, I think this shows like he cares. This ending, I think this is going to be his wake up call that she was taken.
Mhm. Well,
But yeah,
yeah. Oh,
I
and
just yeah.
that was so
Mm-hmm.
sad when they realized she was gone. Like Gray's like, you run, I'm gonna find you. And like
Yeah.
and but and then Rhett's like, wait, she really left. Poor like teddy bear, like sad. But I don't when he realized she was like kidnapped, you know, it was just like this, okay, she didn't leave. And then like Jace was like, wait, what? You know, like I love like all the reactions and stuff of it. I just
the sad thing is, is she gonna admit, well, actually I was gonna run? I hope she doesn't.
The reason why though, and that's the thing, like, because guys don't like, I've noticed this with like texting people, right? Like if you text a man, it's so straightforward. And you text a woman, we'll text paragraphs to each other explaining the thought process behind our text message. And so like that's like the guys too. Like Gray's so simple in his words that it's like if someone would just explain, because he knows though, he understands she's running to save us, right? Like she had this like panic on her face, and then I knew she was going to take off. And so, like, if he would just explain that to the guys, especially like Jace, like where he's like, you just always run, you run when it gets hard. And he'd explain, well, no, she runs because she's trying to save us, because he's understanding. Like, it's just like if he was just a woman for a few minutes to just say like,
and Gray's a man of so few words, so it they like made that very clear.
Yeah,
so
I love that about him.
So, me too, but that also means that's why he's not explaining it to them.
Yeah, it's like, just explain it.
Makes sense, though. It makes sense, though. But it seems like she's been doing that from the beginning. Like he thinks you're running when it gets hard, but I think she's running when she's trying to save you. That shows a pattern. So I think that's what she did in the past. I think she's running. She's always been running to save them. And I like that she was a vulnerable character. Now, I feel like people are always like, oh, we can't have damsel in distresses anymore. And I'm not saying Billy's a damsel in distress. She's strong. She survived on the streets all on her own for years. I mean, she's very resourceful, and she's very caring, and you know, she has some natural reactions. I like that you don't always have to have a character that's going to be like this strong person out of nowhere that can do all this stuff. It's like, no, she has very human reactions. Like, you might freeze up in a situation, but did she go into that gun situation scared that Rhett or Jace was going to get shot and try to do something? She sure did. But in certain situations, you just can't overpower somebody who's like a bodyguard and is trying to take you out. And I like that Gray was there to save her. And then the same with the bullets. Like, you can freeze up. That makes sense. And then she was strong when she went to run. She didn't know what she was going to do or where she was going to go, what she was going to do, but that was courage. So I like that that Tate and Jaymin aren't scared to have a realistic character and a vulnerable character, and have the guys save her sometimes, and have her save the guys. That's what she's been doing from the beginning. It's like they're saving each other in their own ways. And I love that. I love that whole trope. And like, again, like Angel saved her from those goons. But again, I think that it's a balance. You save each other in the ways you can. And I'm sorry, I'm here for it. I love when a guy swoops in and is like, oh, you have her in a cage, like, you know, I'm gonna take them out, I'm gonna get you. And she said Angel's been her savior with the fire and everything. And I think it's sweet. I like that. That's like one of my favorite things. And I think you can be strong as a character, but also vulnerable. And yeah, I just had to praise that because I love that in a book. And I think more people like that than want to admit it. Like, not every character needs to know kung fu.
Yeah. No, I thought that was great. And I also like that, you know, there was even a mention of Rhett and how she is saving him too. Like, with helping him sleep and being there with him, and that he might want to fix everything for her, but guess what? She's fixing things for him too. You know, so it's like you said, no matter, like, there's different sizes of it and amounts of it and what you can do. Yeah, no, she's a good character. She's a really,
and like, she wanted to work.
I love her.
Yeah,
there's been a couple times I've read and the ways that ladies I don't like lately, and I've liked DNF books, which I used to never do, but I'm like, I can't jive with this lady. Like, so I really am happy that Billy is like right there where I'm like, I understand. Like, there was a good, that first chapter was so good for me to understand what was happening.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. And again, with the choices that she makes, she's not making choices because like dumb choices. Like it's like, oh, like we think that, you know, with the first scene with Angel, we can definitely see that like he had good intentions, even though, but it's a scary situation. So it makes sense that even if he like, you know, didn't kill her right away and put her in like the wasn't a closet of office or whatever, that, you know, we saw there was caring there. She heard it too, but she's rightfully scared because the other guys are talking about killing her. Her self-preservation kicking in. She's been on the run for a while. There's also other things at play we don't know. So she's not a character that's like making dumb choices. She's making rash choices. But we as the audience can see that like he does care for her. There, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that aspect as well.
Me too.
It's just like really good balance.
It is.
So I just, gosh, Tate and Jaymin just knock it out of the park every time.
I love
all
their co-writes,
individually,
everyone
together.
Oh, I agree.
I'm so glad they decided to co-write again. I was so excited, and I love that it's rapid release.
I know.
You don't have long to wait. It's fun to follow a series, especially when we like every month. Like, what a great way to start the new year.
Yeah. I love that. I know that I just have a month to wait until the next. It's just perfect. It's perfect. I love it. So
yeah, it's like just enough time to marinate, talk about it, think about it, and then be like, yeah, here.
Exactly. Yeah. So excited for the next one. Okay.
Me too. And for Hair of the Book, I would suggest to people checking out Jaymin and Tate's other co-writes. Because I was talking to some people online and they didn't know that they had co-writes.
I know.
Like, oh,
no, you have to. So like the Princess Ballet's really good. I love that one.
So
and then the
different. Dark Legacy. The
what?
Dark Legacy.
Yes, that's what it's called. I'm like, it's dark something. I'm like, Dark Truths? And I'm like, no. Yes, that one. I actually love. That was my first Tate. And like, it was my first one of them. And it, like,
same of them,
but like
together.
Also of Tate and of her. Like it was just like it was
that was your first overall
first of like all of it. Yeah, and I loved it. Like, so good. So that one has like a very special place in my heart, and that's why I'm like when I'm like mention it and people are like, oh, I haven't read that. I'm like, you need to.
Right? So you haven't heard of this? That's been like my favorite MF series, because you know there aren't like a lot of MFs are standalone, so this is an MF series. I loved it, and also the audiobooks are amazing. They Tate and Jaymin have been doing duet narration before it was like big, so I love the narration on those audiobooks. And same Princess Ballad is, I love the dystopian like futuristic rural society. And especially it being MFM, it's so different. It's really cool. So good. It's a really great series.
Yeah, both of them. Really good reads. Yeah.
So if you haven't read those, check them out. Oh, and then I've been telling people to groupie for RH Rockstar, and then of course The Words by Ashley J.
The Words. Oh gosh, The Words is so good. But I would almost even try Lilac, I think would be
a good one too. Lilac. That's a great one.
That's got some damaged souls in that one too. So
it does. And it's that's in standalone RH.
But it's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you for, is it Dirty Truths, right? In February?
It is Dirty Truths, yes. February 7th.
Yay.
I got it memorized. I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Oh, and shout out to the girls in our monthly book club that are reading this book with us. We have a monthly book club where we're reading this whole series, and we're having a great time with those girls.
I know, it's so fun. Our little group.
Shout out to you, girls. Yeah. We'll talk to you very soon.
All right.
Bye. Bye.